Good afternoon and welcome to Yarn Lane. Sorry, I've just dropped one of the patterns, so I'm just laughing. Don't worry. I'll get it for you in a minute. So we've got today for you a brand new designer to Yarn Lane, new yarn, new patterns, new everything. Really excited. So we've got Denny from iKnit Designs, who has designed all these beautiful, she designs cushions and blankets and jumpers, all using Intarsia and Fair Isle, using glorious colours. And oh, it took me such a long time. We talked for a while. We've been going through this for ages together to work out what we wanted. So my favourite were all the ones with sheep on and the house. So that's what we're bringing you today. We've got lots and lots of choice for you. So I'm going to start off and go through all the different bundles so you can see what we've got. And then we'll meet Denny, and she's going to explain the differences between Fair Isle, stranded, Intarsia, how you use bobbins, Swiss darning, loads and loads to learn today, and these fantastic value kits. So every kit comes with the printed pattern, like this beautiful printed pattern with a chart and everything, and all the yarn that you need to knit the front and the back of the cushion or the blanket, which is great. I mean, obviously you need to provide your own needles. If you go onto the website, the descriptions on there will tell you what size needles you need to buy, which we sell if you don't have them. We've got, so quite the way that Denny's designs work on iKnit's Designs is that she sells all hers as PDF downloads. So I said, well, I really want to create a kit so you can have everything you need. So she's allowed us, we've printed the patterns for you, we've discussed the different yarn colours, and together have worked out what you need for them. So they have been chosen with her as well. So if you haven't shopped with us on Yarn Lane before, the best way to do it is to visit the website, www.yarnlane.com. Now, if you click on Watch Live and then scroll down below that, which is just about to come onto the screen, if you then scroll down below, there I am on Watch Live. If you go down below that, all of the kits are available there, and all you have to do is click on Add to Basket and then check out and it's yours. So there they all are, all the cushions, all the blankets, all the kits and the needles, and even the special buttons and the little new bobbins we've got as well, which I'll show you later. So let's start off with my favourite one, which is the pretty house. Look at this, it's just gorgeous, isn't it? It's got really lovely roof and it's got windows, little plant in it. It's even got pink curtains in here, flowers all the way across the bottom. And then if I turn it round, it's got a lovely rib back. Now these cushions are really clever because they're actually knitted in one piece, which Jenny will explain to you later. So there's no front to back, so there's very minimal sewing up. You start from the back, you work all the way around to the front and then move around to the back, so it's very, very easy. And what I like about this, and I'm sure a lot of you knitters probably feel the same, that, oh, it's so boring, isn't it, all that stocking stitch. You know, when it says knit 20 inches and you think, oh, I just can't face it. But because there's so much colour changing, and even the back of some of the cushions, like let me show you this one, I've got stripes on. So there's nothing boring about it. It's really interesting. So if you're a knitter, you've done knit, you've done purl, then this will be easy. If you've never tried Fair Isle or Intarsia, this is a fantastic introduction to it because they're quick to knit and really interesting too. So you'll really learn something. So I'm just going to go through the pretty house cushion, which is this one. And in the kit, ooh, that's going to fall over, you get the pattern. There we go. Well, everything you need to know, with a chart on the back that you follow, tells you the needle sizes, all the different bits and pieces you need, and you get all the yarn you need. So you get the cream yarn it's all beautiful Stylecraft 100% acrylic Aran weight yarn, which is a 10-ply yarn, so a bit thicker than your normal double knit if you're used to, but it knits up beautifully. It's very, very soft, and because it's acrylic, it's washable, so if you need to wash your cushions, you can. So you get the cream, you get the camel, that's for the window frames, blue for the blind and the curtains and the roof, pink for the curtains and green for the plants, and the pink for the flowers across the bottom. So that's everything you need. Right, and then there's the cushion. Should we get a close-up? Do you want to have a look at it? So we're only doing the pretty house cushion in one colourway. All the other cushions we're doing in a couple of colourways, but just one colourway because it's just lovely as it is. All the different colours. Actually, I'm missing the scarlet. We'll check that. We'll check that afterwards. So there's everything you need for the cushion. Isn't it lovely? Look, it's got little flowers across the bottom. The plants in it, you can either do knitted in using Fair Isle, or you can do them with Swiss darning, which Jenny's going to show you later. It's got the flowers across the bottom. Look at the cushion. I like this one. Let me move there. It's got a little stripy blind in the window, but it's really pretty. It would look lovely in the living room on the sofa. It'd look really nice on a bed, be great in a child's room, all sorts. It's a fantastic gift, isn't it? Who wouldn't love a little house cushion? And so interesting to knit as well. The detail is really good, and when you get your kit home and you read the pattern, very clear, very concise, and very easy to understand if you haven't done this before. And of course, Denny's going to show us in a bit how to do it. So that's the pretty house. Right, let's move on to sheep. We've got two colourways of the sheep cushion. So this is the green one to start with. It's got a flock of white sheep and obviously one black sheep. Now, a quarter of the stock has already been checked out of this. So if you do want the cushion, you need to put it in your basket and you need to check out. There are, I mean, for $16.99, you get the pattern and all the yarn. So let me show you what you get in this kit. So the green one, you get 2 balls of greens. It's a slightly different shade to the worked model, but this is really, it's lovely. I think this one is called Meadow because it is really like meadow grass. And you get a ball of white and a ball of black to do the black and the white sheep. And obviously there's enough to knit the back as well, because the back comes all the way back in a finishing in a rib, and it has buttonholes. If you would like to knit it in grey instead, exactly the same kit, same pattern, but you get the black and the white for the sheep. I'm going to have to move that one now. I've got so much yarn. You get the black and the white for the sheep, but you get this lovely silvery grey, and it works really well, because let me show you this cushion. This is a different one that we're doing. But doesn't the black and the white of the sheep work really well with the grey? So that's the grey colour, but obviously that's a different pattern. But if you're making the flock of sheep cushion, that's what the grey looks like on the background. So it depends whether you want the grey background or the green grass background. There's 2 choices for the flock of sheep cushion, all in Aran yarn. Now I've messed up my list. Right, the next one is the matching blanket. We've got it in 2 colourways. So if you want to do the cushion, if you want a green cushion and you want a matching blanket, you can, because we've got them in the same colourways. So here's the pattern. Well, I'll show you the blanket in a minute, but Denny's got it on her desk. But this is what it looks like on my pattern. And you either have it in the green colourway or the grey colourway. So everything you need, all the instructions, the little charts for the sheep, all the details about how to do it. Now the finished blanket, she's got the glasses on to read this, measures 36 inches wide by 44 inches long. So it's perfect to have just as a little throw on your sofa. You could use it as a cot blanket, you could use it as a picnic blanket. It's a really nice size and it's beautiful. So in the kit you get, for the green blanket, is that the one we've got up on the moment? You get a ball of black and a ball of white for the sheep, and on the blanket it's a flock of white sheep with just the one black, and then you get 5 balls of the lovely meadow green, which is really nice sort of soft grass green, not a super bright one, it's a really nice soft one. So that's the green blanket, $24.99, 5 balls of green, 1 black, 1 white, and the full pattern. Okay. Now, if you want to do it in grey instead, exactly the same. You get a ball of black, that's the one coming up on the screen at the moment. A ball of black, ball of white, and 5 balls of this lovely silvery grey. This is so soft, this Aran, and it's really nice to knit with. It's just that, you know, that little 2 strands thicker than the double knit, so it knits up quicker as well. But it's just a really lovely way. It's perfect for blankets and cushions. Lots of the grey one are going to the baskets. Is grey more popular than green at the moment? Lovely. I mean, what I love about these blankets, you know, they'd be perfect for babies, you know, for a cot or something because of the colours, perfect for that. But they're not childish, you know, they're very grown up as well. So they'd be ideal to put on your sofa, use for a picnic, all different things. So, and that was when Denny and I were going through what were we going to do first of all the hundreds of patterns she does. And we went with these because I think they're sort of multi-appeal. So those are the blankets. And on the grey one, a third of the stock has already been checked out. So if you want the blanket, you need to put it in your basket and check out. Final cushion is the Love Sheep cushion. Where's the pattern for this one? So it's the I Love Sheep cushion. So on the front, you've got these gorgeous, he's almost like a patchwork heart sheep, little pink ears, and a little face. He's so lovely, isn't he? And then on the back, he's got a stripy back with hearts as well. So it just makes it more interesting to knit. And again, you knit it in one piece and it has the buttonholes and a nice rib closure. So we've got a kit for this grey one. And in the kit you get, again, it's the Aran acrylic yarn Stylecraft. You get black and white. You get 2 balls of the silver for the background. And then you get a ball of this lovely sort of dusty rose pink for the back of the cushion and his ears. This is very busy. Half of the stock of this one has gone already. Just gone whoosh, like that. Whoosh. Just whoosh like that. So we've chosen another colourway, and rather than going for the same green again, we've gone for this beautiful, let me get it all, tealy colour. So you get the black and the white for the sheep and the pink for the ears and the back. But then the background is this gorgeous teal colour. It's called Storm Blue, but I think it's more of a greeny blue, like a tealy blue. It's really soft. It stands out very well against the black and the white and the pink. So you just got to choose. You've got to choose, haven't you? Tricky, but you could have both, because actually the grey and the teal, they go really well together. So you could have both. So that's all the cushions. We've got other sheep buttons and things, but we'll go through those later. For the I Love Sheep cushion, if you want the kit, you need to probably check out quite quickly because they are going very fast. Not surprising because they're beautiful. I'm so pleased about that because I was really thrilled when I found Denny's designs, and they are lovely and the patterns are fantastic. So, good morning, Denny.
Hello there. Hi.
So tell me a bit about iKnit Designs. How did that start?
Well, I started many years ago as a knitwear designer on knitting machines.
Okay.
And designed range and taught machine knitting. My career went in a different direction, and I started an IT training company.
Right.
And I ran that for many, many years. Didn't have time for knitting at all. Just too busy and probably too shattered at the end of the day.
I think that happens to a lot of people though, doesn't it? The knitting sort of the craft goes to one side.
That's right. But the creativity was always bumbling away, and I did gardens and things for the family. So a few years back I decided that I'd have a little bit more time to myself, and I started iKnit Designs. And what I do is I come up with an idea, I translate it into a knitting pattern. So I have actually knitted all of these, and
yes,
I do.
These are all knitted by Denny.
Yeah.
They're beautiful as well. You're
Thank
a
you.
fantastic knitter. They're gorgeous.
Thank you. So yeah, I come up with the ideas, I knit them, and that makes it so I can do the pattern very, very easily for me, because it is my own design and my own knitting. I don't give it to anybody else to do.
So you know if it works or it doesn't because you've actually made it. That makes quite a big difference, doesn't it?
It does indeed, yeah. So I have now over 150 patterns that I've created over the years. This has been over many years, mind you. And so I upload the PDF to my website plus other websites, and people pay to click to pay, and they download the knitting pattern and get lovely feedback from people that have knitted the items.
But it's lovely, isn't it? So you've done exclusive to us. We're the only people who have the printed pattern and the kit as well, and it's lovely. And Denny and I chose the colours together because obviously Denny's knitted them in different colours and shades over the years, but she helped to choose the colours. So this is the only place that you can buy the printed pattern and the complete kit.
That's right. This is the first time they've been printed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so exciting, isn't it? Because they look lovely printed.
Yes, they do.
Really, really nice.
Yeah.
So what shall we start with?
Well, I thought we'd start with the sheep.
Okay.
Because they're probably the easiest one to knit. They're all easy.
They're
all easy.
Well, we were having a chat before about Intarsia and Fair Isle.
Yes.
And what's the difference?
Yeah.
So if somebody out there has not ever tried more than one colour knitting.
Right. So Intarsia is what this blanket is. And it means that you have a bobbin, and we'll show you the bobbins in a moment, a bobbin with the blue colour, a bobbin with the white if I was doing the body, a separate bobbin for the blue, white, blue, white, blue, white and blue. Now that sounds a lot, but the bobbins really do help. I know lots of people that think, oh gosh, I'm going to get in a right tangle with all of those ends. But if you wind a bobbin up with the yarn, they just hang from the back. I'll wind this one back up because it's perhaps a bit too long. And
see, I've never used bobbins. I've always used little balls.
Right, and you will get in a mess with them.
And if you want bobbins, we have bobbins. So we've got different size. We've got big bobbins and little bobbins. Large bobbins, fish, because I like the fish. You can get them in different ones. You can get them in different shapes and sizes, but I particularly liked the fish. So just the large fish, you get 6 bobbins. Now there's only 5 here because I've given one to Denny for £1.99. £1.99 for 6 large fish. So that means, you know, with all of these different ones, you need them. That's enough. 6 is enough for any of the patterns, isn't it?
I would have the ball of yarn there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
All right,
so
okay.
Maybe a pack of 2 packs.
For £1.99 for the large one, so that means if you need more yarn. But we've also got small ones. And in the little fish ones, in the small ones, you get 10 for £1.99. So it just depends on whether you want to put on more yarn, depends on what you're knitting, but these are ideal. They're really, really easy to use. They're just one of those little tools and gadgets that will make, if you're doing Fair Isle or Intarsia or stranded knitting, a lot easier. Okay.
That's true.
So what do we do with our bobbins?
So it's very easy to do. This is one of the bigger fishes. So if you just hold, you're either right or left-handed, the end on the fish, and just wind it round. So you can let go once you've got that going, and it gets quite quick.
Okay. So how do you know how much to put on?
I would load them fully up.
Right, okay.
Because you won't use it all for that row of sheep, but when you get to the next row, you'll need it again.
Oh, okay, so just wind them up.
Keep winding up, yeah. So, yeah.
Perfect.
And as I say, I haven't got fish, but I'm very envious of your fish.
I do like the fish. It was a big choice, and I chose fish because they didn't have sheep.
So I've got just the ones that I've bought, and again, they're very, very useful. I would not knit this without it. Because
mine all kept getting tangled and twisted and rolling on because I had little balls and all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, I occasionally think, I'll just do it with a ball of yarn, a couple of balls of yarn. I'm only doing something very small. But it doesn't work. I always think, I wish I'd wound it on.
Because it doesn't take that long, but it really helps.
Yeah,
and anyone who's done multicoloured knitting will know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, yeah. So that's Intarsia. So to go back to what's the difference between Intarsia and Fair Isle, the sheep cushion that we'll come to, the big sheep, the I Love Sheep.
The I Love Sheep cushion. Yeah.
This is Fair Isle. So we have the blue either side, and in the case of the cushion it's grey, and then we carry the yarn behind all the hearts. So I'll show you how to do that. And that's more of a Fair Isle stranded technique.
to make it extra warm, we decided on Fair Isle, because it's quite
That's
cold
right.
up there,
Yes.
by carrying the yarn across the back, you get a double layer and it makes it extra warm.
Yes.
So Intarsia
right.
you don't carry, and Fair Isle you do.
You do.
There we
Yeah.
go.
There
I
we
never
go.
knew. I've always wondered what the difference was. Now I know.
I mean, some people will carry the white behind the blue there, but you'll find with a blanket especially, it's not going to look good.
Can I I mean, the I Love Sheep cushion in grey is about to sell out. So if you want it, yeah, this is about to go. But the blue one is still available. Right, sorry, carry on.
So on this blanket, I've got away without lining it.
It's very neat.
But you could line it. It's, you know,
It's really
it'd
lovely
be quite
blanket.
easy to line. But if I had used stranded or Fair Isle, those white would be going across the blue.
Oh, okay.
And that you wouldn't get away with not
So
lining
for
it.
something that's you're going to see the back of, it's best to use Intarsia then?
Yeah, well, in this case, yes, yeah. It's mainly because the sheep are so wide. little fat sheep.
And I guess it stops the blue showing through.
Yes, that's right, yeah. So I've got a sample of the green sheep in the colour that is for sale today. And what I've done, if I'm in the right place, is...
Yeah, you can see on the screen. There you go.
Yeah, is knitted a moss stitch border just on this little piece because it lies lovely and flat, to show you how it works.
And moss stitch is?
Moss stitch is knit, purl all the way along, and then on the back, if you did a knit stitch on the correct side, you do the same stitch in knit.
So it's like rib, but the other way around?
Exactly, yeah.
And why did you choose moss stitch?
It lies flat.
Okay.
This blanket has been done in moss stitch borders, and as you can see,
it's lovely. It gives it a really neat edge as well.
Yeah. And with the blanket, of course, you can carry on the moss stitch. So I'm not picking up stitches at all.
Yes.
I'm just doing the borders along with knitting.
It's all done in one piece.
Yes, exactly.
It's
yes.
It gives it a really nice border though, doesn't it?
It does, yes. Yeah.
I like that.
So to come to the sheep, I've done a little bit of her. I think they're she's.
Yeah, yes, they're girls.
I decided on the way they were girls.
They're girls' sheep. You can name them.
So on this one, on the back, if I show you, because people get really worried about sewing in ends. So with the black, because I'd only got 2 little legs to do, I actually just cut off a length of yarn and sewed across, knitted across with that. So I'd get to the point in the chart where I needed the black.
Oh, so you don't really need a bobbin for that?
No, it's too small.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, you can get away with things like that. And I carried the green yarn in the space between the legs because, again, it's such a small little space that it didn't seem worth doing complete intarsia with that.
Right.
So that was 2 rows for the legs. A lady asked me yesterday how to read a chart.
Okay.
Because she was concerned that she'd tried to do colour work before and she found that reading the chart was the main thing that she came up across.
Okay.
So I have got a chart here, the sheep chart. And we have 2 rows on the pattern because the top row is chart A, the second bottom row is chart B, and then we would knit chart A again, so it's repeated.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you get a chart, one of my charts anyway, I will tell you to start at 1-1.
Okay.
So that's square 1-1.
Right,
so
yeah, because the numbers go up the top and along the bottom.
That's right. So I would tell you how many stitches to knit before you come to the chart. In fact, this one is completely the cushion width, so it's the 74 stitches that you need anyway. So you would knit up to a black leg, so that's 13 stitches. Use the black strand of yarn that you've cut off. Do 1 stitch black, 2 green, 1 black, and then carry across with the green right across to the end, and then come back. So that's the black used. So the odd numbered rows are knit, and the pearl.
So you knit sort of from right to left, and then left to right, and right to left. So it's not like you're not sort of always going right to right all the time.
No.
So it's just followed in exactly the same way
as
you knit.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So I will tell you that the odd numbers are knit rows, and the even numbers are purl rows. So with that little secret, it should be quite easy.
No, so you're basically following it the same way you knit. So you knit from right to left, and then you knit from left to right.
Right. Yes, that's
Perfect,
exactly right. I don't count stitches. I go by the pattern. So when I come to do my white, I would say to myself, okay, I need to knit a white before the first black leg.
Yeah.
So it saves counting stitches.
Yeah, so as long as you've got the right number of stitches up to where you start, you then just follow what you've done before.
Exactly, yeah. So it's crucial to get the first row right in the correct position. But after that, just look at the previous row and think, okay, row 3, I've got to knit wide of the legs by 1 stitch each side. Then the bigger sheep, I'd look at that and gauge by the legs again. And that's the way I work. And I find that much easier than counting stitches.
Yeah, no, that makes sense because you can see, well, because of the colour change as well, you can immediately see what you've done before anyway.
That's right.
Which is nice because actually the colours that you've chosen for the backgrounds, the sheep really stand out on them.
That's right, yes, yeah. So, so I've got up to here. I'm actually on, I've done row 8 and I'm due to do row 9. So I will I will do the moss stitch border.
So knit, purl, knit, purl.
Yeah, that's it. And then knit up to where I need to be. So I know that row 9 is the same as row 8.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not going to count.
Because you just follow them.
Because I'll just think, all right, I've got to change to white now. I've got to that point where
So
I
what
need to
happens
change
when you
to white.
change from green to white? What do you do?
Right, okay. So this is the part that is so important, and this is where you get it very neat.
Okay, so we can see nice and close up now.
Yeah, so we can see that I've got the green that I've knitted and the white. Now I knit with my right hand. I've always done it. I can't do continental knitting. I can't do Portuguese knitting. I've tried for years and still haven't got it. So I go back to the way I was taught by my mum and my grandmother. So when I get to do the white, I go into the stitch and I put my green yarn over my white yarn, pull the white yarn fairly tight and start knitting with that. So what I've done is I've twisted the yarn.
Yeah, you should just cross them over.
Cross them over. That's all it is.
Okay.
That's all it is. And then continue.
Which I guess means you don't get a hole.
No, you don't get a hole, no. No. You can see there's no hole there.
Really neat.
Yeah. There's a hole down here because that was when I joined in the white. And when I darn this in, and I'll show you how I do it, I will always pull it in the direction over the hole so it closes it up.
Ah, okay.
So that's the
So I guess the beauty of doing this in Intarsia, not Fair Isle, is you're just knitting white now. You haven't got to keep swapping and crossing over the greens with the white and travelling across.
No, not at all, no. And this is why I say it's so easy. People do get in a bit of a pickle, but I think it's because they're not using bobbins.
So over half of the green blanket has now gone. So if you want the green, you need to check out. Very busy?
Sorry.
Very busy. That's because they're so lovely.
So I finished with the white and I'm ready to continue with the green. So this time I'm leaving the white behind, crossing the green over the white, and I can start to knit. That one needs to be fairly tight. You can just pull it.
So when you swap over the first stitch, you do just a bit tighter.
Yes, that's right. And then you have it very neat again. And there we go.
So you could just knit lots of little squares of sheep.
Well, I thought if you had yarn over, you could do a little coaster.
Yeah, just
with,
a little,
with
or
the
a
moss
pocket
stitch. Yeah, exactly.
for something.
Yeah, definitely.
A knitted sheep pocket on your jeans. Hannah's saying she wants one of those now.
Well, as I
It
said,
looks like a little pocket as well.
yeah.
If you did a moss all the way round.
Yes, at the top as well. Okay, so everybody happy with that?
Yeah, we've got that.
Yeah. So I've come to the point now where I want to start the face. So if I look at my chart, I can see that it's the same, the white in the same place, but I'm going to do 4 white, 2 black and 4 white. So I've got ready this time a bobbin of black.
Because you've got a whole head of black.
Yes.
So you need a bobbin this time.
I mean, you could get away with a length, but just be aware.
But like you said, you wish you'd laid it on when you
exactly.
do it.
yeah. This is the point where I would be thinking that. So I'm going to come across again. So obviously from the chart, this is an even numbered row.
Oh, because we're on row 10. No, 11. We're on 11 now, aren't we?
We're on row 10.
Row 10,
10.
yeah.
So I'm going to get to the white again.
Follow my chart.
And if I was knitting this, I'd be crossing off the rows as I'd knitted them. That's the easiest thing.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Just cross through them.
Yeah, pencil, then
so
you can
you
rub
know.
it out.
Yeah.
Just so you're sure you've done it. So I am now going to do the changeover on the purl side. So we haven't done that before. So again, you just make sure it's fairly tight. And I've pulled the green down and the white is going to go across. So I'm going to do 4 there. Now I'm ready for the black. So there's 2 stitches of black. And it's just joined in, nothing special.
Okay, not knotted or
No,
just looped
it's best
in.
not to knot,
Okay.
because you'll feel that in a blanket or a cushion. So best not to do that. And so I've done my 2 black, and I'm going to strand across that. It's not worth me having another bobbin of cream just for two stitches. So I'm going to strand across that and finish there.
Oh, all the fish have sold. Oh, I love the fish. They're so useful, aren't they? Isn't it nice when you get a really useful gadget that's very cheap as well?
Yes.
It's a pleasure.
Yes. And I have made my own in the past, but I just love your fish, so you're never going to make
Great,
any
aren't they? I'm going to buy more fish. They do them in other shapes, but they didn't do sheep. They should do sheep ones.
I think there are, but yeah, we'd have to look for that.
I'll have to find sheep ones. If anyone knows, if anyone's seen any sheep ones, let me know.
Okay, so you just continue.
Okay, just like that. So you just keep crossing over.
That's right. Yes.
So you shouldn't really go over more than 2 then.
No, I'm going to go across the 4.
Okay.
Of the sheep's face. I'll do a 4 now so that you can see it's out of sync. I should do another 2,
okay,
but just so you can see.
A funny looking sheep.
Funny, short.
Don't do this at home, or you'll have a weird sheep.
Short-faced.
It'll be known as the short-faced sheep.
Sheep. Okay.
It's a bit like the blue-faced Leicester.
That's right. Actually, this technique will come in play when you do the I Love Sheep, the big sheep with the hearts.
Ah, okay.
So I've come to where I need to think about the white. So again, taking the white over the green. And I will do just 2 of those. And now I need, actually I'll do 3 of those, because I need 4 for the face. So I'm going to drop down the cream as I did before, pick up the black over here, and knit 2. And what I like to do is twist again. So I haven't got long floats.
Okay.
So I bring up the white and cross it over the top of the black. So I've got the twist in, and then another
Right,
two
so you
black.
cross them over, but you don't knit with it, you're just crossing it, so
That's
there's
right.
not too many
Yes.
floating across the back.
Yeah, and it makes it nice and neat, and it also relaxes the yarn, so you haven't got a tight, long piece of yarn at the back.
Okay.
And off we go again. So yeah, for those people that have never tried it,
It's brilliant.
it's easy enough.
You need to move forward just a bit.
Sorry.
That's better.
Okay, and we're off again with the white. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
perfect. So if you're going over more than two, then just cross them over the back if you're doing fair.
I would, yes. It just makes it neater. And of course, if you do like I did on the blanket, you can disguise the yarn that's crossing over on the back a bit
Okay,
more.
because it does look neat on the back, doesn't it?
Yes,
Doesn't matter at all.
yes. I mean, it's your choice whether you want to make a backing on it, but not necessarily.
Yeah, you don't
So-
need to. If you wanted it to be heavier or thicker, I guess you could, just sew a cotton fabric on the back?
Yes, I've done that, yes. I mean, you can get some lovely fabrics, textiles with sheep on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
So if you want to buy the blanket, it's available in two colourways. The green, which is the one that Denny was working with, which is this colour.
over here.
There's only 14 of these left. So if you want one of the green ones in this colourway, you need to check out. Or it's available in the silvery grey background, which is this. Obviously in the kit you get 5 balls of the background, either green or silver, a ball of black and a ball of white, which is for the sheep. So that's the blanket. Okay.
Okay. So with the cushion, I would then do the 3 rows of sheep. And there's some stocking stitch right up to the top. And probably Rebecca will show you that I will do a row, bottom and top of the front, where I knit on a purl row, and that gives that nice ridge.
Yes, so can we get the overhead on that? So this is interesting. I thought that this was the seam at the top, but it's not, because the cushion, I'm just going to turn it around so you can see, you start knitting here, and then you go all the way up and round to here, and then there's a purl row put in here. So it looks like you've seamed together, but it's not. It's all in one large rectangle, and then you knit all the way around here.
The other way round.
The other way round. But and then you do that across, and then you get to there. But obviously you do it the other way round. But it's because it's one rectangle, it means you've only got the seams down the edge. But this row of purl is really clever because it looks like you've got a front and a back.
Yeah, it gives it a nice crisp edge.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then on the back are the buttonholes, and Denny's put sheep on hers. So we have actually got sheep buttons. So if you want sheep buttons for the back of your cushion, we have them in 2 colourways. Pack of 4 white, because you need 4, and they're sheep. So there's the 4 white. Look at them, aren't they sweet? Can we get really close up on my little sheep? Little flock. $3.99 for 4 sheep, and they've even got a knitting pattern, like it looks like real knitting printed on them. So they are perfect for knitted sheep cushions. When I saw them, I thought, got to have those. So there's the white ones, or depending on what you're knitting, you can have grey ones. Same price, but just grey, and they've got like a knitting pattern printed on them. So those are the grey ones. $3.99 for a pack of 4. Got a question from Hazel. Never done anything like this before. So what happens when you go back to the green as you have 2 lots?
When I go back to the green.
Well, I guess when you've finished a row of sheep,
Yes, yeah.
what happens to...
Well, you would cut one of the greens off and continue with whichever bobbin has got the most on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and just carry on. I mean, sometimes, and I'll show you on the pot one, that I will have, if I know that I'm going to do the sheep interspersed with bands of stocking stitch, I will use the ball.
Right, and then so cut the bobbins off and use the ball for those sections.
Yeah, that's it, because you're going to use a lot of yarn in between the different sheep. But if you've forgotten to do that and you've just wound up some bobbins, just carry on with the bobbins. Okay. If they run out, just make sure, it's just a tip, that you can gauge that it runs out or you finish it at the edge.
Right, so don't join yarn.
No, because it will always show up. I mean, I've tried to disguise it in the past and it
so
never
if you
worked.
get halfway along, you'll have to unpick.
I think so.
Yeah.
I would now.
Okay.
I might have not in the early days, but I've learned through my...
And it always shows.
Yeah.
So it is better really to use the ball to knit.
Yes.
Between the rows of sheep.
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
Coming back to the blanket again, exactly the same. We've got a large expanse of the blue in between the sheep. So I would have had a ball of blue as well as the bobbins going along. So when I'd finished the black and white of the sheep, just cut them off and cut them off so that you've got enough to sew with, because you want to use that to sew
the ends.
Sew it in, yeah.
So we've got about 15 minutes left.
Okay.
Should we do the house?
Yeah, the house one. So this one, it looks complicated, but again, if you take it stage by stage, it's
it looks interesting.
The same principle, yes.
Doesn't it?
Yes. So starting again at the back, coming through to the front. This one has the complete chart, so you're not looking at different bits like the sheep. And for this one, I would load up bobbins with the cream and the green to knit in Fair Isle, because you're carrying the yarn right across to the door. And then have a bobbin of red and knit the door. And then have another set of bobbins for the cream and green to finish the green part of the flower. So you keep doing that, following the pattern again, following the chart. When you come to the flowers, you can cut the green off because you don't need it anymore, keep the cream going, and then use the pink to knit up to the door again, a different bobbin for the door, and then the cream and pink again for the flowers. So in this case, I would probably have bobbin for all of that. There's only a couple of rows of just the cream in between before we get to the window. Now the windows frames, I would have a bobbin of cream, a bobbin of the beige, and I would carry the cream across all that area to the door, and then have a bobbin for the door, and then cream and beige again. Now, this is because you'd have an awful lot of bobbins if we had a different bobbin for each part of the window. So what I've done, I have here one I've got ready, and you can see what I've done with the window. So I've had cream and the beige colour, honey I think it's called, and on the back I've done stranded knitting or Fair Isle knitting. So the colours are carried across.
Oh, okay. Just because you've only got little frames, so it's not worth having separate bobbins for that.
Yes, yeah. So that works really well. So I would do that with all of the frames that you see there on the house. And of course, when you get to the roof, you're back to easy knitting of doing Fair Isle in blue and cream. Now, on the cushion that Rebecca has, I actually did knit in the vases and the curtains and the blind as I went along.
Right.
So that's possible to do.
Because they're on the chart, so.
Yeah. Just as you would have done the sheep when you had the three colours going along. But if you don't feel comfortable with that and you like to Swiss darn, you can Swiss darn the objects in the windows. So I've got a thread.
So Swiss darning is?
A duplicate stitch over the existing knitting.
So it's like embroidering on top?
It is, yes.
But to look like knitting?
Yes.
Okay.
You got it. So I'll do a little bit.
Yeah, show us how we do that.
So I'm going to follow the chart again. It tells me they have one cream one next to the frame, but then I'm going to start the vase. So my needle comes up at the point of the V at the bottom and pull it through. And make sure you just leave enough to sew to catch that in at the end. And then take it to the top of the V and underneath almost the bottom bit of the next stitch and pull through. And then back down to where you came from.
So you're creating a knitted stitch?
A knitted stitch on the top of an existing one. And then you just carry on. You get very quick at it.
It's very nice technique for adding little details, isn't it?
That's
so
right,
if you wanted to
yes.
put like a number on the door,
yes,
you could do it with that.
That would be lovely, actually, if you wanted to
If you put your house,
personalise
if you were
it.
giving this to somebody as a housewarming present, you could knit them a house and you could put the number on the door,
Yes,
or put
yeah.
details, or if you wanted to add flowers to any of the plants, you could do it with that.
I've got my bobbins inside there. Or a different colour door to match yours.
Yeah,
maybe.
it doesn't have to be that colour. You can use, yarn from your own collection to
Yes.
do that.
Yeah. And off we go. So we're going up to the top of the V again. And down to where we came from. All this is in the pattern.
Okay, so
I've
we don't
described how to do it.
Right, so you haven't got to remember this.
And I've also told you what bobbins to use at what point. And it does. It looks very, very neat.
So yes, you said that to work duplicate stitch. So it's either, some people call it Swiss darning, some duplicate stitch, but duplicate makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Yeah, no, and it does say in the instructions exactly how to do that. So you
Yeah.
haven't got to remember. So if you wanted to do any smaller details, or if you wanted to put the curtains on in a different colour, you could do it either with
Yes.
Intarsia, Fair Isle, or Swiss darning.
That's right.
You'll be an expert by the time you finish this. But it is a lovely process, though, isn't it? Because you have to think and count. There's nothing boring about it.
No, it's not boring.
Very
no.
mindful.
Yes, yeah. And lovely to watch it grow as you're knitting up.
I guess it's very, very easy as well to see where you are.
Yes.
You don't have to count rows.
You
'cause
don't.
You know, oh, I've done halfway up the window frame and across the front of the
That's
door.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, so that's the trick with that one.
Okay, so we've got about 5 minutes left. What should we?
Right. I'll just show you the hearts on the I Love Sheep.
Okay, yeah.
This is done in a fair art technique. So we only need a blue and the white.
So the sheep cushion is available. The grey is sold out now, hasn't it, Hannah? But the blue, the storm blue, which is more like a teal, to be honest, this colour is still available. $17.99 for the pattern and all the yarn you need to do this one, but it's only left now in the storm blue, this teal, really. That's why they call it storm blue. So, the hearts.
Right. So if I go through the pattern again, again, you would need perhaps one bobbin of black for the front legs and the back legs. I don't see the point of having 4 bobbins for the legs.
Oh, because you can just cross
just
over.
cross
Yeah, 'cause
it,
it's only a
yeah.
couple of stitches between them.
So when you finish with the legs, you'll be just using two balls of yarn. And again, I wouldn't count. I'd be getting the first row right and then saying, okay, I obviously need 3 where I had 1 before. I'll do another 2, knit 1, and then I'm ready for another heart. So I find it much easier than counting. But with this one, because some of the hearts are quite wide, I'm going to do that wrapping of the yarn. So if I show you that.
Yeah, so this is Fair Isle now.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Fair Isle in a patch of non-fair Isle of stocking stitch.
Fair Isle in the stocking stitch pattern. That's another technique. And yes, by the time you've finished your cushion, you'll be an expert on all things colour work.
Yeah. So I'm coming up to I've picked one of the big hearts to show you. So again, I'm just crossing over the 2 yarns.
You've got a nice message coming across the bottom. Yeah, but you'll have to wait for it because we're just watching.
Oh, sorry.
No,
Want me
it's
to
fine.
stop?
No, not at all. No, so we're going to finish watching this section.
Okay. So I've done 3 this time.
Right.
So 2 or 3, it depends
Okay.
on the shape really. So I'm crossing over the blue on top of the cream or white, and knitting another 3. And that gets the blue across. And it won't be tight then. So if we didn't do this, you would have a tendency to pull the blue yarn tight across the back.
Okay, yeah, and it would be too loose. I mean, although the cushion it's inside, but it might affect the tension.
Yes, yes.
So every 2 or 3,
Yes,
you just
2 or
cross
3.
them over.
Yeah.
And I guess because I haven't used bobbins, you just let it hang and then they untwist.
They do. They don't get twisted at all. No,
I've
it's very
spent
easy.
hours untwisting.
Yeah, so it doesn't show, but it does make it nice and neat.
Yes,
on the
that's
back.
lovely.
Yeah.
So what's the message then, Hannah? From Jeff, I and my friends have used iKnit designs in the past and they are brilliant, easy to use and so pretty.
Oh, that's
Well, thank you very
nice.
much, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
They are really pretty and there's loads of them.
Yeah.
When following the chart, I photocopy it and mark the rows off as I knit them. This way I keep my pattern nice and clean. Yeah,
That's a very good idea.
you
Yeah,
could.
exactly.
Or just use a pencil.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Right,
I
we've got a
think, too.
couple more minutes.
Okay, yeah.
Were you going to explain to us about sewing in?
I was indeed, yes.
Because that's always something that I think I struggle with. I never really know how much to sew in and how often, how many times to sew in.
Yeah. Some people say, gosh, there's so many ends to sew in. But I quite like doing it. It's the process. You have
Part
to do
of the
it.
process, isn't it? And it looks so
Yeah.
neat when you're finished.
Yes, yeah. And you can sit and watch Italian do that.
That's true.
So I'm going to look at the black here, the legs. So I've left plenty, too much really. But if I take a needle.
So you need a nice large-eyed wool needle.
Yeah.
Which if you look on the website, we do have. But if you go onto the tools section.
So the best thing is to take a running stitch up the leg. I haven't been fingers and thumbs till now. And go back down again. Because it won't unravel if you go up and down, if you think about it.
So you just do a little running stitch,
Yeah.
just up and see, I never know then how many times to do it.
Well, if you think about going up, doing a corner and coming down, it's unlikely that it's going to unravel.
Okay.
Because you've turned a corner.
Oh yes, I see. Yes.
So you don't have to do a huge
Whereas
amount.
if you just go one way, it could come undone.
It would come undone,
Right.
yes. So I think turning the corner is the secret, and perhaps a couple more just to secure it in, and then cut it off.
And I guess that's the time that you can pull it a bit tight to close any gaps.
Yes,
if you've
yeah.
joined one in.
The legs weren't so bad, but the cream on the little area here, if I just quickly do that for you. Because I joined in the yarn, I'm now going to close that gap up. So just catching it in that way. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
And again, especially if you're doing the blanket, just make sure you do it the same colour. Sew on the same colour, up and then down again. And it's done, and you can cut it off.
Perfect. That's really useful because it is something that always says, isn't it? Sew in ends.
Yes.
And you think,
I've got a few to do here.
how exactly do I do that? But it is a nice part of the process because it's all, as you go through it, it neatens it all off,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be done.
And then you just sew up the sides.
Yeah, mattress stitch at the sides. I overlap the rib part, so the whole side over where the buttons are going to go.
Yeah.
Just over sew that, and then mattress stitch right down both sides. So there's very little sewing.
Yes, that's quite nice, isn't it? Well, you can concentrate
Yeah.
on the knitting instead. Well, it's a
Yeah.
beautiful pattern. Thank you so much for coming on over this today,
Well,
Anna,
thank you for having me.
and for letting us use your designs and give them to everyone out there. So we will have Denny back soon. We'll have to go back through the next lot of patterns. What should we do next?
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. You should see the dinosaurs. I think we should do that
Dinosaurs
next.
and unicorns.
Yes, definitely for me. Dinosaurs, that would be lovely. So I hope you've enjoyed it today. Unfortunately, we have sold out of quite a few things. So we're going to just run through a few of the kits that we do have left. So the Pretty House cushion, this one here. In the kit, you've got all the yarn and the pattern to knit the house, and that's the back and the front. So you've got the blue and the pink and the brown, all the different colours. And remember to watch it back. Just write down when you've ordered the kit what day it was on. You can watch it back on YouTube. So if you need a bit of a reminder about whether you're using bobbins or whether you're doing Fair Isle or Intarsia, just will help a bit. But honestly, if you read through the instructions, they do make perfect sense. They're really good. So that's the kit for this one. That's on screen at the moment, $24.99 for the Pretty House. And remember, you can personalise it as well. So if you want thinking of making a gift for somebody, or you just want something for yourself, you can add lots of other details. The I Love Sheep cushion, which is this one here, we have left in the Storm Blue, which is more of a teal colour. So this teal colour background we've got left, that's $17.99. You get 2 balls of teal, one black and one white, and that knits the front and the back of the cushion. That's a beautiful colour. The blanket, we do have left in both colours, but quite limited. The green is more limited. Yeah, there's only a few left of the green, so there's a lot of you with them in baskets. So if you want the blankets or the flock of sheep cushion, you really need to check out. So thank you for joining us today. It's been lovely to have a brand new guest. We will be back with Yarn Lane on Sunday this week with Wendy Orlando, who's going to be doing granny squares, amazing string bags, and we've got some beautiful books, some really lovely new products. So if you want to have a go at crochet granny squares, we will be back on Sunday. So I hope you've enjoyed today. Please do send us your feedback and photos of anything that you've created, particularly for these kits. We'd love to see them. And if you've got questions, just email them in. But thank you for joining us today. It's been a pleasure, and we will see you again on Sunday. Bye-bye.